What's up, YouTube? This is Randy at Breaking Bad Bulls. Today is day 5 for little Jude over here. So today, I just really want to talk about, how he's doing. Jude's not gaining as much weight as I would like. He's probably gaining 0.5 to 0.8 ounces, barely an ounce a day. You want a Frenchie, he's 5 days old. You want at least a Frenchie to gain at least 1 ounce, minimum 1 ounce every day. So today's his 5th day. He should have gained 5 ounces, but he's a little under that. I think it's because he's the smallest out of the bunch. The boy that was in front of him, the one that didn't survive, he was bigger. He was about 12, 13 ounces. And Jude here was born 11.1 ounces, so that's big. Like I was saying the other day, a Frenchie puppy will typically weigh newborn out of the womb 7 to 8 ounces. Maybe less, but Jude came in at 11.1 pounds, 11.0 ounces, not pounds, I'm sorry. So today what we're gonna do is weigh Jude and see where he's at. So my wife's gonna put him here. We got this scale, it's called ETAC. You can see it right there. And it's very convenient. I think they made it for baking, but it's really useful. It keeps the puppies inside of it. All right, so today's weight for Jude, we'll let him start squirming. That's what you see fluctuating. We'll take an average of it, and 12.6. So it's fluctuating, 12.7, 12.5, we'll say 12.6. And he's about the same weight. He's not losing weight. We weighed him the same time last night, and I'll show you what I did. And I really recorded using this a calendar. So yesterday he was 12.5, today he's 12.6. So that's barely, a point per ounce that he's gained. On Tuesday he was 12.5, 12.4. You'll see Sunday it was 12.6. At the born weight, which is here Friday, he was 11.1. He gained 0.5 ounces on Saturday, then so forth and so on. So today he's not losing weight. He's actually barely gaining, but he's a small dog. So I really just want to show you that it's really important that, you weigh your puppies every day about the same time. Some breeders would weigh their puppies before a meal and after a meal. I think that's cool. Right now, I think for me it works where I weigh them once a day around 7 o'clock on his feeding when my wife's helping me. It's a lot easier for me. That's probably why I go do that. It's much easier and more convenient. We were talking about the other day as well what we're feeding him. So I took out the bag, and to show you guys, there's Mana Pro, Nurse All, and my wife would mix it up. Half a cup of this, of Mana Pro, to
half a cup of water.
To a half a cup of water.
And
so once we do that, half a cup of that, you get this in that bag. And then we mix it up in this bottle right here. It's a preemie bottle. It's a little thick in consistency, but there's still some liquidity in there. So you want it, kind of liquid. And that's the consistency that we like to give Jude. So it makes about half a bottle to what we described with the mixing. So it makes about half a bottle of this, and this is what we feed Jude every day. Skylar's still not producing enough milk. That's a big concern, concerning for us, because we know that from Skylar's last litter, she usually produces really good milk. But again, it's something breeders like myself new at this that I'm learning to prepare every time I have a litter, to always make sure that I have some type of supplement to give the puppy. So another thing too that my wife had noticed, and I noticed too while feeding him, he aspirates. And what that means is when you're feeding a Frenchie, when you're feeding him milk, you don't see the whiteness of the milk come out of their nose right there. And that's typical for a lot of French Bulldog short snouted breeds, where they'll aspirate their milk out of their nostrils. It's something to be aware and sometimes concerned about. And the reason why I say that is if you let aspiration gets to his lungs, where the liquid goes through his nose and makes its way through his lungs, then that causes aspiration pneumonia. Now that's troubling, because once he catches aspiration pneumonia, then he has to go to antibiotics. He has to go to his incubator with our oxygen running, and also our humidifier. And the humidifier provides, a moisture in the air, and that moisture relieves his breathing through his nose. So if there's liquid there, it makes it easier for him to breathe, and hopefully get rid of that pneumonia in it, if it's at all in its early stages. One way you can find out if he has pneumonia, if it passed through his lungs, if you'll put his chest to your ear, and then you'll hear a gurgling sound, almost a gurgling sound. So that's one way we did that. We don't feel that he has pneumonia, but it's still something that we're concerned about, to make sure that he doesn't catch any type of pneumonia, because right now he's in day 5. It's still critical that he stays warm, and healthy, and making sure that he's always being watched and cared for. The other thing that's really important, guys, is, I talked about this, is make sure that you have a warm shallow whelping pen, just like this pool here, that I keep in a constant steady temperature of 88 to 90 degrees. I have a warming lamp that you guys know about, so that's been on for 5 days now. It keeps the heat on the very top, and also the warming blanket from the bottom here that warms him up from the bottom, then also from the top. What I was talking about too, that I use all the time, and I've used this also, is this joker right here. Very, very helpful. I talked about in my earlier videos. It's called Imber Plus. I always make sure that Jude is at, that current temperature on the very top of there is in the 90s, or high 80s, 89. You can see the closer I get to the lamp here, the higher the temperature. So the puppy, if you put Jude down there, just gonna demonstrate, a puppy kind of knows when he gets too warm or too cold, and by instinct they'll go, if they're getting too warm, they'll go to a cooler place. And you'll notice Jude, he's going towards the warmer section, and it's in this section he's at, it's about 92 degrees. And you'll notice at night the Frenchies also, the puppies will also gravitate to this side, to the left side, where you'll notice it says 74.1. So they'll naturally travel around the pool, like what he's doing now. If he's getting too cold, he'll travel from the cold side of 92 degrees, and he'll start walking all the way around to where it's cool. It's 87. That's a big jump. That's a big difference. You notice now with Jude here, he's starting to lift up his head. So on the 5th, 6th day, you'll notice the puppies, if the puppy's healthy, they'll start engaging their head movement, where they'll start lifting it up. That's a good sign for Jude. I'm a little worried, but again, at the same time, I'm very, very hopeful that he's going to continue to have positive progress here at Breaking Bad Bulls and getting really, really healthy. He's gaining weight. He's staying small. So I expect that Jude to be shorter than Gus. Gus, his sire is 12 inches. So, with the other puppies, the other litter that I had, they were a lot bigger at 5 days. And I suspect Jude, because of his genetics, he carries, small dog features. So I expect him, just the way he looks right now, 5 days old, to be a smaller Frenchie. And what I mean by that, he's probably going to be 20 pounds, maybe 21, whereas his dad is 25, 26. His dad is about 12 inches on the withers. I think he'll be smaller than that. I think just like his litter, his sister that's from the other litter, she's staying small. You know her she goes by the name of Mimi Girl. She's bullying. I'm going to update you guys on the latest of Mimi Girl. Man, she's gaining so much weight. So the other thing I want to do is, since we're thinking about his aspirating from his nose, and what we typically do when we do notice that is we like to take him in his warm place here. Yeah, hi, Jude. There he is. There's a good look of Jude. Breaking Bad Bulls Jude. And we'd actually open this up and place him in this incubator for a couple hours until his next feeding. I would close it up, and one thing that's important, like I said, you always have to be ready of these kinds of things you expect. This is where the humidifier comes in handy. That humidifier that I showed you, which is this, and provides relative humidity in here to where Jude could breathe in that humidity that helps him excrete any type of fluids that might be in his nose, in his nostrils, and not hitting his lungs just yet. I'm also going to turn on our oxygen machine to help Jude breathe better as well. So that's where the incubator comes in handy. So if you have a concern about a Frenchie that might catch pneumonia or having trouble drinking by aspirating through his nose, because early development and the formation of his nostrils is still not mature, this is where it comes in handy, guys. So an incubator right now it's very handy, where if I didn't have that, then I'd be kind of having to have a manual humidifier and putting it through his nose and all these kinds of things. But where we have it on hand, there it is, it's going right now. And I typically get the relative humidity to about 68 degrees. I find that 68 degrees relative humidity, once it hits there, that's where you want to be at if you have a humidifier for your incubator. So this particular humidifier is set to turn off at 68 degrees. So once it hits, then this particular machine will turn off. And that's why it's important to have controllers such as this. And once it hits 68 degrees, the machine will turn off automatically from there to where Jude is breathing in all the moisture now. That will help him recover from any type of aspiration in his nostrils, and hopefully cross our fingers that it didn't get to his lungs. But again, we're always vigilant, we're always checking to make sure that Jude is, you know, as healthy as he can be. And if we're here and we can help him through this, that's what we'll do. I have the oxygen concentrator going. I also have the controller for humidity and also the heat also in the pad. So that's really important. So I would recommend, if you're breeding Frenchies, is to always be ready, always be prepared to act when you need to. I appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Subscribe, like this channel. This is for everyone that's into French Bulldogs. We're here to support each other. I'm new to French Bulldog breeding, but at the same time, I want to learn. I think you can't stop learning. Once you do, then you lose. I always want to learn. You know, I don't know. I don't profess to know it all, but at the same time, if I can help someone there going through the same situation and they take something positive from this, well, I did my job. Again, this is Breaking Bad Bulls. Randy checking out day 5. I'll see you day 7. Woo!